Hello and welcome to my very first competitive Showdown battle here on YouTube. I am doing a UU battle using a team that I got from A. Adams, someone up on the ladder who won't mind me borrowing his team. I did plug in my own moves and EVs for these Pokemon. I have a double rocks and double defog team because it's singles. You got to do what you can to keep those rocks on and off the field. Looking at my team, first up, we have a Life Orb Mamoswine with Stealth Rocks, Ice Shard, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, all that good stuff. An Iapapa Sword Stance Cobalion, which is totally subject to change. That Iapapa Berry does not go off when I want it to. Z Draco Meteor Latias, very good in this meta right now. A bold defensive special Altaria, which is really good, can catch some Caesars off guard if they hit it with a Life Orb. Bullet Punch from full, I can live and hit back with, say, a Flamethrower. Empoleon, which has modest Grass Knot. So on a good day, I can catch a Swampert off guard, take him completely out of the game. And a Rotom, specially defensive with Defog. Super good to have in this meta right now because of Mamoswine. Super terrifying wall breaker to go up against. Very good to have Rotom Heat on your side. Looking at the team matchup, it's pretty scary. Tentacruel has no problem rapid spinning against me. Bronzong is a threat. If it has Gyro Ball, it can really hit most of my team members for big damage. And Pidgeot, which outspeeds all of my Pokemon as well. So I want to stay with high enough health to always live and attack from that Pidgeot. Starting off this battle, I lead with my Rotom Heat because it looks like a really good matchup. I can always Volt Switch away if I don't like where I'm at. But he U-turns, and I really expect him to bring in Crocodile on the Volt Switch. But he brings in Bronzong. That's okay. I'm a Fire type. I can punish that with an Overheat of my own. Almost don't expect him to stay in here until I realize that he is Toxic. Toxic is a great play. Rotom's really good in this matchup, so he's thinking long-term. Good move on his part, Toxicking my Rotom. I get a little overzealous, go for the second Overheat, but he switches into Togekiss. Volt Switch might have been a better play. I could have brought in Cobalion right there, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll work with what we got. He knows I'm getting out of here. No speed investment Rotom outspeeds his Togekiss. Kind of tells me what's going on with this Togekiss. Very defensive. And he uses Heal Bell. Gets rid of a burn on Bronzong. I guess he really wanted that Bronzong not burnt. I bring in Mamoswine, free switch in, get my rocks up. He brings out this Bronzong again. I get into Empoleon since I know he can't Toxic me. Takes this opportunity to get off rocks. Good play. I try to connect with a knockoff, which would have been great damage on this Bronzong. Probably would have taken out. Instead, I just knock off the Life Orb on this Crawdon, which is okay because I can pick up the KO with Grass Knot afterwards, which he probably didn't see coming. So getting Crawdon out of there is a great feeling for my team. Rotom Heat can definitely breathe a little easier. Sends in Crocodile, and this is exactly what my defensive Altaria is for. It could live anything he goes for, bar, say, a Stone Edge or an Outrage. Bringing in this Bronzong is okay. We both double out, and he gets in his Bronzong versus my Lottie, so match is in his favor. I got to get my Lottie out of there, back into Empoleon as he Psywaves. Psywave is one of those chance moves, does a random amount of damage each time, so he's kind of just rolling the dice here. I take a knockoff to his face, make sure I get those leftovers off of him and keep him at low health for the rest of the game. Keeps coming at me with the Psywave, which tells me he really wants this Empoleon out of here, and rightfully so. It has a pretty good matchup against him. My Altaria comes in. I just try to roost off since I figure as long as I don't Mega Evolve, his Gyro Ball can't do a lot of damage and probably wouldn't do much anyway. I get back up to 57 health, it looks like, and I think that's good enough. I'm just going to take out this Bronzong right now. I'm done playing around with him, and 57 damage, 57 health is pretty decent to sit at. He brings in Pidgeot, which is a little surprising. I would have expected Tentacruel, because I do live his Hurricane and can retaliate with a Hyper Voice, which looks great, but he roosts, and if I would have kept Hyper Voicing, I probably would have been in a better situation. But I try to roost myself, and he gets off another Hurricane and takes me out. That's okay. I have Rotom here, which is kind of crazy. I'm bringing him in for all these rocks damages, but he stays in and roosts, kind of expecting me to Volt Switch out of there, nullifying his Flying type, making my Volt Switch not do much. Joke's on him, I have defog. He's going to U-turn on out of here, bring in that Crocodile. Would have been great to smack him with an overheat, but I can't predict like that. He U-turns into Crocodile as I Volt Switch, and then I'm racking up this toxic damage. Pursuit from Crocodile might have been nice there too. I bring in Cobalion on a Stone Edge. He really was expecting, say, Latias or Rotom Heat, someone off the ground. That's okay. I use this to get a Swords Dance on Cobalion. It's kind of now or never. I go for a Stone Edge and miss it on Tentacruel. He goes for Haze, which is okay. I mean, I still have my full health Cobalion, so I can't really complain. We both double, and Empoleon versus Togekiss looks like the matchup is in my favor. He goes for a Nasty Plot, which I do not see coming. I really wrote this off as being a defensive Togekiss, so me knockoffing is not what I meant to do. I mean, I took off his leftovers, but not doing much damage with that knockoff. Switch Latian on Air Slash, which might have been a little much. I kind of wanted him to go down swinging, killing this Latias without roosting, but he's a little smarter than that. Figures he'll gonna roost back up to health, and he keeps getting back up to full as my Rotom comes in, sitting about at 50 health here. I get off a Will-O-Wisp, just praying he brings in that Crocodile. I know he's not going to, but it seems like my best option. Crit with Air Slash. Not ideal, but that's okay. Because I know I outspeed him. I can at least smack him with one Volt Switch before I get out of there. Bringing in Empoleon. He roosts again. This is not looking good. His Togekiss is back a bit full. Can't Toxic him or anything like that because he's already burnt. Ooh, what am I going to do? Just throw off a Scald. Since I am modest, I do a little bit more damage than I'm anticipating. Because I would think like a bulky, specially defensive Togekiss could really eat up a lot of Scalds, but not the case. I bring in Mamoswine very riskily, trying to catch him on a roost so I could force him out, but he makes a good play and Air Slashes offensive. I could have gone for an Earthquake, say on that Togekiss, but that would have been the third eye play right there. On the next level, getting in Empoleon on a Scald, not too bad. Best thing I can really do to this Tentacruel is just knock off, get his recovery off of him, but I guess I could take this opportunity to get Rocks up. That's probably for the best, seeing as he's got two flying types that can take a big chunk from Rocks. Togekiss roosting is not the end of the world because I know with my Scalds, his no leftovers, his burn damage, it's all going to be racking up. I'm doing about 50% damage right here to his Togekiss, which I definitely can stay in for some more of. He does go for the Air Slash and doesn't continually roost, so I do manage to knock him out. Thankfully, that Togekiss was a threat and a half. Sends out the Tentacruel, which looks like it can just rapid spin until I die if I tried to spam Rocks, but instead I decided to take his leftovers because I could see I wasn't going to win that matchup by going for Rocks. Not the end of the world, not the end of the world, because Empoleon has done his job. He has killed that Crawdon and knocked off Bronzong's leftovers, which was awesome. So out comes Latias. I thought he might want to save Tentacruel and go into Crocodile. Not the case. He knows this Crocodile is going to be deadly late game. Out comes Pidgeot. If Latias was going to switch out, he wouldn't be taking a hit anyway, so that was his chance to make a stand. He goes down to that Hurricane, and I send out Mamoswine. Now, Ice Sharding would be the right thing to do, but I really thought he might switch in Crocodile, get the Intimidate off so he knows he can live in Ice Shard. Not the case. I send in Cobalion afterwards, eat the Big Papa Berry. Not the best case scenario. Stone Edge with no guard isn't going to miss at least, and he can just clean up with his Pidgeot. It would have been nice to get off that Ice Shard on Pidgeot because I saw that I lived. It was actually a roll to live that Heat Wave from full health with Cobalion. Could have knocked him out and either forced a 50-50 with Crocodile because it was scarfed and he couldn't lock himself into both Knockoff and Earthquake. So he would have had to pick and choose how he that battle would have ended up. Definitely a great battle. Thank you, Gimme Wins, for that great matchup. It's a win so long as I learn from my loss. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay tuned for more Pokemon content. Peace.